us now move on to Professor Sundareswaran. Let me give a brief introduction to Professor Sundareswaran, a professor at University of Calicut. Professor N.K. Sundareswaran is currently a professor at University of Calicut, Kerala. He also has a PG in Sanskrit from the University of Calicut. He has published more than 75 research papers in reputed journals and books. He has authored 7 books in different languages, English, Sanskrit, and Malayalam, and has edited 15 books on different aspects of Indology and Sanskrit. He has presented papers in 15 international conferences and more than 75 national seminars, including 3 World Sanskrit conferences. Professor Sundareswaran has been felicitated with the Vikram Kalidas Award for Best Paper, Kalidasa Academy and Vikram University, Ujjain. Because of my own personal understanding of survey of his publications, I know that he covers a range of topics right from Vedic material like Brahmanas to the contemporary Sanskrit works and poetics, and he covers a range of different topics. And today he has chosen a very interesting topic with regard to question Praśna and Atipraśna in Vedic literature. Over to you, Professor N.K. Sundareswaran.
Shonaprabham Somakalabatam Sam Panispurat Panchasharekshu Chapam Pranapriyam Naumi Pinakapane Ponatrayastham Kuladaivatam. Dear friends, salutations to one and all. I'm very happy that a symposium is being organized on debates. I have chosen my topic as Praśnas and Atipraśnas in the Vedic literature. Friends, what I intend to do with this presentation, by this presentation, is to highlight 2 facts. One thing is that asking questions, debates, and dialogues permeate the whole fabric of Indian intellectual tradition as well as Indian literary tradition. The other fact is that heated debates and challenging and testing the proficiency of even scholars abound in the Brahmana and Upanishadic literature. And of course, Atipraśnas were also banned. Atipraśna will discuss questions exceeding the limits, boomerang questions, questions which question the fundamentals themselves. Such questions were prohibited, banned. Now, as a background, these 2 slides. There is a general notion that in the Sanskrit parlance or in the shaastric tradition, there is no room for asking questions or being critical. People, general public laymen, think that shastra, the term shastra means instructive or directive. To some extent, it is true. The term shastra is defined, or the kosa, the dictionary, give the meaning of the term shastra as shastram grantha nideshayoho. Nidesha means instruction. But the actual fact is, on the contrary, there is ample room for questioning and being critical in the general parlance of Sanskrit and in the shaastric parlance too. There is an injunction scriptural injunction. It says, do not give away these three things if they are not asked for. Which are they? Food, education or knowledge, and girl in marriage. Annam, vidya, tatha, kanya, anarthibhyo na diyate. Ayachitani deyani sarvadravyani bharata. That is the first one. Here also, only when a question is asked, it is to be answered, or when knowledge or education is sought, only when it is sought, it should be imparted. That tradition is there. Questions in the form of seeking knowledge, testing as a narrative device, and even as an essential element of ritualistic advice and essential element of complete learning, permit the whole fabric of Indian tradition. Vedas, especially the Brahmana portion. When I say Brahmana portion, we should keep in mind that Vedas can be classified into two sections, not four. Usually, Vedic literature is classified into four types: Samhitas, Brahmanas, Aranyakas, and Upanishads. In the earlier times, it was not the case. The classification was into two: Mantra Brahmanayoho Vedanamadheyam. Aranyakas and Upanishads, they are a part of Brahmana literature. So, there are only two classes, mantras and brahmanas. Brahmana means interpretation of mantras, interpretation of Brahma. The term Brahma means mantra. It has got another meaning also, the term Brahmana. That which expands, that which extends. Here, you should note the point that this particular meaning, that which extends, is given to this Brahmana literature because of the abundance of narrations, of debates and discussions. There is an Upanishad text whose name itself is questioning, Praśna. This advice or injunction or even a maxim, can be called as a maxim or a direction, is well known. It's from Bhagavad Gita. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. So pariprashna is very important. Prashna means question, questioning. Pariprashna means pricking questions, piercing questions, going on asking questions for either testing the proficiency or with an intention of quest for knowledge, with the inquisitive nature. Now, there are, before coming to this slide, I would like to divide the questions that are appearing in our tradition, whether it be literary or intellectual tradition, then can be classified into 5. Number 1, narrative devices. Number 2, catechism in the form of ready reckoner or digester, like Yaksha Praśna. It's a ready reckoner or digest. It's like a guidebook for PSA or SSC examinations or JRF examinations, like a ready reckoner. Questions are asked, answers are given. And number 3, questions asked with a genuine quest for knowledge. In the Upanishadic literature, some people ask questions. They say, Vividishani, let me know. I am eager to know. I am curious to know. I have got a genuine interest. I have got genuine quest to know. Vividishani. It is with this intention alone, I am asking this question. They state as a prefatory statement. Number 4, questions for testing the proficiency and knowledge. In the Upanishadic literature and even in Brahmanas, this type of questions are in plenty. The very famous challenging of Gargi. She is challenging Yajnavalkya with 2 questions. Such type of narrations, incidents, episodes are in multitude in the Upanishadic literature. Friends, the standards of education were set so high in ancient times. Nowadays, we lament about the failure of our formal education system to meet the expectations and standards. But can you imagine in the ancient times, in the Upanishadic times, a graduate student coming back to university and asking the Vice Chancellor this question: how did you dare, sir, to declare me as a graduate without properly teaching me? It is really surprising. In the Chandogya Upanishad, there is this story narrated. A boy named Shvetaketu, after graduating, he went to the court of king of Panchalas, and he was asked 5 questions by the king. He was unable to answer even a single question. And he was ridiculed in public. You are saying you are a graduate and you have not been taught all these things. How is this like that? He was asked. Then he returned to his master. In olden times, the Gurukulas were universities and the Kulapatis were the vice chancellors. So this boy, he had his graduation under his own father's feet. He returned to father and he says, Saha ayastaha piturardhameyaya. He approached his father. He came back to his father, that is his teacher, preceptor, tamhovacha. Ananushishya bhavakila ma bhagavan abravit anutvashishamiti. Ananushishya, without properly teaching me, kila bhava ma bhagavan abravit anutvashishamiti. You declared me as a graduate without properly teaching me. He bluntly puts this question. See how the standards were set so high. So, this is the 4th type of question. And beyond this, I would like to add 3 more points. One is the case of boomerang questions or questions which are to be banned or prohibited. And it is surprising. This is another observation, general observation about asking questions and prashnas and pariprashnas. The contours and modalities of discussion and debating were defined. Contours were defined and modalities were analyzed and discussed and defined, specified. And even more surprising is the fact that debate was considered as an inevitable element or essential element of learning process. Without debating, one was not declared graduate. Just like our internship, after the completion of the course or the program, the student is asked to partake in symposia, conferences, debates and discussions. Then only the degree was conferred. So now coming to this slide, this Praśna and Paripraśna, it simply permeates the whole fabric. See, in the Ramayana, the first stanza itself is, verse itself is Naradam Paripapracha. It is not even simple questioning. It is Paripraśna. Paripraśna means piercing questions, pricking questions. Valmikar Munipungabam. And in the Mahabharata, we get 4 individual texts contained in the Itihasa. Bhagavad Gita, Sanat Sujatiya, Vidura Niti, Yaksha Praśna, all dealing with debating, discussion, and as I said earlier, Yaksha Praśna can be reckoned as a ready reckoner or a digest. See these questions. Sthita prajnasya ka bhasha samadhisthasya keshava. Jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddharjanardana takyam karmani ghore mam niyojayasi keshava. Pertinent questions, piercing questions. And then these are as well known from Bhagavad Gita. And this question is asked by Dhritarashtra to Sanat Sujata. Parma Sanat Sujata yadaham shrunomi mrityurnasti iti tavopadesham devasura acharan brahmacharyam amrutatve tat katarannu satyam. He asks, oh Sanat Sujata, you are saying there is no death at all. You say that apramada or losing what you call vigilance and negligence, that is what is mrityu, and there is no death at all, you say. And in the lore, ancient lore, it is heard that even devas and asuras, gods and demons, they performed brahmacharya for amritatva. So you are denying amritatva, and the stories tell that even gods and demons, they performed brahmacharya for attaining amritatva. Oh, what is this? The correct position, right position? I am confused. Please tell me. Please enlighten me. So these such type of questions permeate the whole fabric. Now, there is a term, Brahmodya, which occurs often in the Brahmana literature. Brahmodya means ritualistic conversation or question-answer session. Brahmodya. In the sacrificial rites, we get many ritualistic conversations or question-answer sessions, often called by the name Brahmodya. These are seen in the Brahmana texts as well. See this Brahmodya and the Ashwamedha. In the Ashwamedha, 2 of the major ritviks. As you know, there are 4 major ritviks in the sacrifice: Hota, Brahma, Udgata, and Adhvaryu. Hota and Brahma, they are to perform this ritualistic conversation. One asks, Kasvide kaki charati ka usvijjayate punaha. Who moves independently without anybody's help? Kasvit ekaki charati, asahayaha charati, without anybody's help. Surya ekaki charati. It is the sun who moves independently without expecting or asking for anybody's assistance. Ka usvijjayate punaha. Who is born again and again? Chandrama vaijayate punaha. It is the moon which is born again and again. So such questions, ritualistic questions were there in the Shrauta tradition. In the Puranas also, this narrative technique, narrative contests were used, narrative devices were used in abundance. In the epic and Purana tradition, there is a wonderful narrative pattern. As the story develops into sub-stories and further down into the next level of sub-stories, we get a number of speaker-listener pairs. I have taken a small example. Saptashati Stotra, which is known as Devi Mahatmya in some parts of India, and in some parts it is known by the name Chandi. This stotra forms the 13 chapters of Markandeya Purana, 78 to 90. In this, originally the story of Saptashati is narrated by Markandeya to Kraustuki. And this story is retold by 4 birds to Jaimini. These 4 birds, they are actually children of sage Drona. And in the story itself, in the story of Saptashati, there is another pair, speaker-listener pair. Sage Medhas is the speaker and Suratha and Vaishya are the listeners. So, these type of narrative devices were abundantly used, richly employed in the Purana literature as well. Now, this is very interesting, an episode from the Mahabharata, Sulabha Janaka Samvaada. Actually, this incident, I want to highlight, through this incident, I want to highlight 3 things. Sulabha is the lone lady scholar in the Indian mythology who defeated a the only episode in the Indian tradition in which a learned lady defeats a man of proven scholarship. Actually, in a serious debate, she defeats Janaka. Janaka was the most celebrated man of wisdom in the Upanishads and even in the Puranas. As you know, the sage Vyasa once sent his son Shri Shukra Brahmarishi to Janaka for learning more, for the completion of learning. So such a wise man, such a man of wisdom, such a man of profound scholarship, Janaka was defeated in debate by Sulabha. She is a lady ascetic. Actually, the more interesting or more significant aspect of this episode is that she answers the imprudent questions of Janaka. Janaka was a little bit disturbed. Why? Because this lady ascetic went into the sattva, the consciousness itself, or the mind of Janaka itself, and started asking questions. So Janaka was a little bit disturbed. He asked, "You are very beautiful, you are young. Why did you take to this sannyasa? And you have done 4 sankaras, Varna Sankara, Ashrama Sankara, Dharma Sankara, and another Sankara. So you are committed a sin by entering into my sattva, my consciousness, and you are asking questions." So Janaka asked imprudent questions. She not only answered the questions, before answering the questions, she put forth, she highlights the etiquette to be followed by a debater and the proper way of asking good questions. Ityadairasukhairvakyaihi ayuktaihi asamanjasaihi pratyadishta narendrena sulabha navyakampata. On hearing these imprudent questions from Janaka, Sulabha didn't move. Emotionally, she didn't get moved. Uktavakya tunrapatau Sulabha charu darusana tatas charutaram vakyam prachakramathabhashitum navabhistaiva doshair vagbuddhi dushanaihi apetam upapannartham ashtadasa gunanvitam. There are 18 blemishes to be avoided, 18 doshas to be avoided in a debating, in a speech, and 18 virtues, characteristics, positive characteristics to be included, 18 gunas to be included in a speech, she says. And after that, she enumerates, gives the list of all these 18 and clearly defines the modalities of discussion. Saukshmyam sankhyakramo bhav nirnaya saprayojanaha panchaitani arthajatani vakyamityuchyate nrupa. She defines what is a vakya. Esham ekaikashoarthanam saukshmyadinam sulakshanam shrunu samsaryamananam padarthaihi padavakyataha. So that is a Sulabha episode, Sulabha Janaka Samvaada, Sulabha Janaka Samvaada in Mahabharata, where it is said that the modalities of debating and discussion are analyzed, discussed and specified and defined. Now coming to another genre. This is canonical literature on medicine, Charaka. In the Charaka Samhita, in the Vibhanasthana, there is a chapter named Roga Vishadjiti Adhyaya. There, it is said that debating and discussion are the inevitable element of the process of learning. To read Charaka's own words, Krutsanam Shastram Adhigamya Shastrasya Dridhatayam Abhidhana Saushtave Arthasya Vijnane Vachana Shaktaucha Bhuyo Bhujaha Prayateta Samyak. Krutsanam Shastram Adhigamya. After learning the whole of science, after learning, not before learning or not while learning, after learning, Krutsanam Shastram Adhigamya. Bhuyo Bhujaha Prayateta. The student should put in effort to learn, to know more and more. Prayatayata samyak. For what? Abhidhanasya saushtave. For a clear presentation, clarity of thought and as well as clarity of expression. Arthasya vijnane. To get the clear knowledge. Vachana shaktaucha bhuyo bhuyaha prayatayata. And what are the tools advised for this? Adhyayanam, Adhyapanam, Tadvidya Sambhasha Cheti Upaya. Adhyana means Swadhyaya. Again and again, referring to the basic texts, canons, canonical literature, samhitas. Adhyapana, teaching. And Tadvidya Sambhasha is debating. Now, these are all the benefits enumerated of debating and discussion. A physician should discuss with a physician. When one discusses with a master of the same discipline, it leads to exhilaration. It leads to high proficiency. It bestows the acumen of eloquence. It enhances one's fame. For one who has some confusion regarding what is taught by teacher, all doubts are dispelled. For one who has clearly understood what is taught by the teacher, gets a stronger conviction. Discussion with a fellow student brings into notice some of the points that are unnoticed with deserving attention at the time of teaching. A disputant is impelled to disclose the inner crux, of some aspects that are imparted to a close and beloved student by the preceptor, by the excitement of disputation and desire for victory. Therefore, wise men commend deliberations with a fellow student. Now, I shall read out this also, the original text of Charaka Samhita. Vishaja sambhasheta tadvidya sambhashahi jnana abhiyoga sambharshakari bhavati vaisharadyamapi cha abhinarvartayati vachana shaktimapi cha adhatte yashascha abhidipayati पूर्वश्रुते च संदेहवतः पुनःश्रवणात् श्रुतसंशयम् अपकरिष्यति श्रुते च असंदेहवतो भूयोऽध्यवसायम् अभिनिर्वर्तयति अश्रुतमपि किञ्चिदर्थं श्रोत्रविषयम् आपादयति यच्चाचार्यः शिष्याय शुश्रूषवे प्रसन्नः क्रमेण उपदिशति गुह्याभिमतम् अर्थजातं तत्परस्परेण जल्पन् पिण्डेन विजिगीषुः आह संहर्षात्. It is very interesting. One of the benefits of doing debating or discussion is said that sometimes these teachers secretly advise some beloved students some techniques, some very important points, aspects and elements are not disclosed to every student, and they are imparted to some selected beloved students. Bruyas Nigdhaya Shishyaya Guravo Guhyamapyuta. Those secrets or those quintessential elements will be disclosed. The disputant will be forced to disclose in a heated debate. So that is very interesting. Tasmat tadvidya sambhasham abhiprashansanti kushalaha. Now, in the Upanishads and Brahmana texts, this Samvaada, dialogues and debating, they are richly employed. I am not going into details. This is a vast subject. The time is very short. So, some Samvadas I have enlisted. Yajnavalkya, Gargi Samvaada, very famous. Raikva, Janashruti Samvaada type is there. Shvetaketu, Jaivali Samvaada, Ushasti Brahmana, Satyakama in conversation with a bird, bull and fire. Shvetaketu Aruni Samvaada, in which the famous Mahavakya, Tattvamasi, is enunciated and elaborated, discussed and explained in the Chandogya Upanishad, and the whole text of Praśna Upanishad are some examples. Now this is Brahmodya. Those are the questions this we have witnessed in an earlier slide. Kigisudasi Brihadvaya Ityaha Ashwavai Brihadvayaha, etc. etc. Now this is very interesting. Very interesting incident or episode. In the Shatapatha Brahmana, as you know, is the most voluminous, the biggest in size among the Brahmanas, and it is very important among the Brahmanas. In the whole of Vedic literature, it is the next important to Rig Veda. The first one, the most important text is, as is well known, is Rig Veda. The next one is Shatapatha Brahmana. So, in the Shatapatha Brahmana, where Brihadaranyaka Upanishad is contained, there is a Brahmana, a portion, which narrates the ritual of Upanayana. This I am citing this incident for 3 points. Here, there is a case of Pariprasna. Actually, amidst a heated debate between Prachina Yogya and Uddalaka, the ritual of Upanayana is narrated. Amidst a heated debate, Prachina Yogya asked 30 questions on Agnihotra, and Uddalaka answers all the 30 questions. Meanwhile, while this discussion was going on, the listener said, no, this point I want to learn more. I was not knowing. So, can you please teach me? He asked. Then, immediately, the listener or the person who wants to learn, he brings samit. He brings logs of wood or samit and places before the preceptor or the speaker. And I want to get initiated, he says. So, Tamha Upaninye. This is the text. Shaichayo Nyaptaha Imani Samitkasthani Upayayani Bhagavantamiti Sahovacha Yadevam Navakshaha Murdhate Vyapatishyat Ehi upehiti tatheti tamha upaninye. So it's a case of pariprashna, going on asking questions, heated debate. In between, this ritualistic initiation is done because the listener wants to know more and he wants to get initiated. So ritualistic initiation is done, and at this point the Brahmana discusses the Upanayana ritual. Actually, this Upanayana, marriage ritual, all domestic rituals, they are not pronunciated or enunciated directly by Shrutis Vedas. It is well known. They are therefore called as smarta karmans or grihya karmans. But here, interestingly, in the Shatapada Brahmana, we get a detailed description of the ritual of Upanayana. So here, amidst a heated discussion, this ritualistic initiation is done. And he says, I am very happy to, the speaker or the teacher says that, I am very happy you have brought this summit and you want to get ritualistically initiated and you want to genuinely learn things. So had you not asked this, had you not behaved like this, your head would have fallen shattered. Murdhate vyapatishyata. So without explaining more, I am moving on to the next slide. This is a well-known incident from Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Gargi asked 2 questions. These questions, this is a case of what you call challenging the proficiency or testing the proficiency of a scholar. Then Gargi, the daughter of Vachakanu, said, distinguished Brahmins, I am going to ask this man 2 questions. So a heated discussion was going on between Yajnavalkya and 5 learned scholars. Actually, Yajnavalkya challenged the scholarship of others, and other learned scholars, these 5 scholars assembled there in the court of Janaka, they were forced to challenge Yajnavalkya's proficiency also, scholarship also. So in turn, they were challenging. In between, Gargi also, this lady ascetic, she also, Brahmavadini, she also asked questions. And Yajnavalkya successfully answered, defended. Afterwards again, she is coming with 2 questions. She says, distinguished Brahmins, I am going to ask this man 2 questions. If he can give me the answers to them, none of you will be able to defeat him in a theological debate. Ask Gargi, said Yajnavalkya. She says, this is very interesting. She says, I rise to challenge you, Yajnavalkya, with 2 questions. Much as a fierce warrior of Kashi or Videha, stringing his unstrung bow and taking 2 deadly arrows in his hand, would rise to challenge a rival. Give me the answers to them. And this is the Pariprashna, which went on. Athahinam Gargi Vachakanavi Papracha Yajnavalkyeti Hovacha Yedidam Sarvam Apsu Otam Cha Protam Cha Kasminnu Khalu Apa Otasta Protascheti Vayu Gargi iti Kasminnu Khalu Vayuhu Otasta Protascha iti Antariksha Lokeshu Gargi iti Kasminnu Khalu Antariksha Lokaha Otasta Protascha. It goes on like this. So it's a case of Pariprashna, pricking questions, piercing questions. Here, I give the English translation. This is a translation. The things above the sky, the things below the earth, and the things between the earth and the sky, as well as those things people here refer to as past, present, and future. On what? Yajnavalkya. Are all these woven back and forth? He replied, the things above the sky, the things below the earth, and the things between the earth and the sky, as well as all those things people here refer to as past, present, and future. On space, Gargi, are all those woven back and forth. On what then is the space woven back and forth? That is a question again. So chain of questions, piercing questions. Now, what I have to do to come back to this Zoom, I am not knowing.
You may take your own time. If you have a few more slides, you may conclude.
2 or 3 slides. But
yeah, not a problem.
How to come back to this Zoom?
Oh, okay. Your slide is visible. You can.
Slide is visible, but I have to get them.
You may
now
go
I
back
have
to the
another
full...
file. So how to escape?
No. You may go to full screen.
Full screen. From where?
At the bottom of the PowerPoint, you have to the right extreme.
No, I have opened another file, Word file.
Oh, okay. Then you have to exit the present share screen.
Oh.
Then only you will be able to
stop share.
Stop share.
Okay.
Then you have to go to the next.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have to come back again.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Now, at the end of the debate, Yajnavalkya says, Atipraśna. That's a well-known passage, well-known quote. O Gargi, you don't ask boomerang questions. Questions which go beyond the limit. Questions which question the fundamentals themselves. Sahovacha Gargi, Atipraśna, Mate Murdha Vyapaptat. Anatiprashniyam vai devatam atipruchasi. Gargi Atipraśna. You are crossing the limits. You are asking about the God or deity about whom no question should be asked. This is the translation. You are asking too much. You should not ask such questions of this kind. Atipraśna. If you ask too much, your head will fall down just now. Murdhate vyapatishyate. So, do not go beyond permissible limits of logical argument, because it is inadmissible to ask the cause of everything. The cause of everything. You are asking for the cause of the supreme cause. Such a question is meaningless. So, Gargi, Atipraśna, Mate Murdha Vyapaktat. By putting stupid questions, may your head not fall. Do not ask questions of this kind which have no meaning. You are asking where the cause of the causes is situated. Such a question should not be put. Now, this is another case from Brahmana, Taittiriya Brahmana. In the third Kanda of Taittiriya Brahmana, the last 3 chapters, 9th, 10th, and 11th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, these 3 chapters, they are said to have been adopted from Katha branch of Yajurveda. So, traditional scholars, Vedikas, they call these 3 chapters by the name Kathaka. There is a case of Atipraśna. There, a sage by name Aruni sends his disciple to another scholar sage by name Plaksha, son of Dhyampata. And he sends his disciple with a question. You go and ask Plaksha. You ask whether he knows the secret of Savitra Vidya. You go and ask. And this boy goes and asks, Atyamho Harunihi Brahmacharine Prashnan Krochya Prajigaya Parehi. You go. Plaksham Dayampatim Pricha. You ask Dayam Plaksha, son of Dhyampata. Vetha Savitran na vetha iti. Do you know Savitra or not? Tam agatya vapracha. This student, this boy, came to Plaksha and asked, Acharyo ma praheshit. Teacher sent me. My teacher has sent me to you, sir. And he has this question. Vetha Savitra na vetha iti. And Plaksha said, yes, I know. Saho vacha vedeti. Immediately comes the next question. Sakasmin pratisthita iti. Where is it situated? Where is it established? This Savitra Vidya. Parorajasiti. It is situated in Parorajas. Kastadyat Paroraja iti. Again, question. What is this Parojas? Parorajas. Esha vavasa Paroraja iti hovacha ya esha tapati. You see the sun, burning sun. This lustrous sun, he is Parorajas. That is the answer. So the questioner asks again, Yeshor Vagraja iti sakasmin tvesha iti. No, this sun cannot be called Parorajas. Parorajas means beyond the mundane world. Parorajas, Rajas here stands for world which can be perceived by gross sense organs. So this sun can be perceived by sense organs, eyes. So it is not beyond this mundane world. The sun he is not beyond this mundane world. So he cannot be called as Parorajas. He is below or within the limits of comprehension. So Arvagrajaha iti. Sakasmin tvesha iti. So what is Parorajas? Satya iti. The other fellow answers. It is Satya. It is established in Satya. It is situated in Satya. Kintat Satyamiti. Then what is that Satya? What is the truth? Tapa iti. That is penance, concentration. Kasminnu tapa iti. Where does it remain? This tapas. What is the substratum of tapas? Bala iti. That is bigger. Kintat balamiti. This bigger. Where does it exist? Prana iti. It is prana. It is vital prana. Then this student says, oh, I should stop here. I have been asking questions, but my teacher has clearly warned me not to ask questions beyond prana, on or beyond prana. Masma pranam atipraśna iti macharyo braviditi hovacha brahmachari. So I am not going to ask further. Okay, I am stopping. I am concluding. He says, Sahovacha Plakshodayam Patihi. Then Plaksha says, Yadvai Brahmacharin Pranamatya Prakshaha Murdha Te Vyapatishyat. Had you asked a further question, your head would have fallen shattered down. Ahamuta Acharya Shreyan Bhavishyami. Actually, dear boy, your teacher should not have done this. Your teacher sent you to make a discussion with me on Savitra Vidya. One should not discuss on Savitra Vidya. So, I will attain more fame than your teacher. Ahamo ta acharya shreyan bhavishyami yoma savitre samavadishteti tasmahat savitre na sambadeta. So, one should not ask, one should not question, or one should not debate on Savitra Vidya. That is the Brahma Vidya, the secret. So one should not ask question on that. So I am concluding. This is the message. One can ask questions. Nay, one should do. But the questions should be proper and within the limits. One is not expected to ask questions which challenge the accepted norms in the discipline, axioms. Some questions boomerang. They even challenge or shatter the accepted order of things. Such questions are not entertained. The questioner is often warned not to cross the limits and ask such questions. Often it is said, often it is stated in the Brahmanas and Upanishads, had you asked that question, you would have your head fallen, shattered. So, this is a message I want to give. I wanted to highlight, as Mahimabhatta said, two facts. Actually, I am not inventing or finding something. It is only unraveling. Anumane antarbhavam sarvasyaiva dhvaneh prakashayitum vyakti vivekam kurute mahima pranamya vacham. That is the prefatory statement of Mahimabhatta in his text Vyakti Viveka. The fact is that all kinds of implications, dhvanis, put forward by Anandavardhana, they can be included in Anumana. Anumana is Mahavishaya and Dhvani is Alpa Vishaya. So, Sarve Dhvani Prakaraha Anumane Antarbhavanti. And that is a fact. I am just highlighting the fact, that's all. Just like that, in the whole of Indian literary as well as intellectual tradition, these two things are there. One is asked to be critical, at the same time warned not to cross the limits. Thank you. Thank you, friends.
Thank you, Professor Sundaresan. That was a wonderful presentation.
1 minute. I should thank the organizers and the listeners, audience also, for having given me this opportunity to share my thoughts on this Praśnas and Atipraśnas with you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, sir.
That was a wonderful presentation, Professor Sundaresan. Actually, we began with an inaugural talk by Professor V.N. Jha, who was bringing out the theoretical framework for a dialogue from Nyaaya Shastra. Yeah. But this was a theoretical framework again. Actually, you were bringing out theoretical framework only, but drawn from the various Brahmanas and Upanishads and the dialogues, Samvaadas, and you were distilling the points of limits of questioning, and what is a good question, what is a good way of questioning, and how extremely critical was the dialogue tradition of the Vedic society was, and all such wonderful points you brought out. Thank you very much for that scintillating, enlightening talk, Professor Sundaresan. I will check if there are any questions specific to the talk. There are no specific questions. There is one mention of another book. One Madhavan TV is saying Shankaracharyasya Prashnottara Malika also is there. Bhagavataha Shankaracharyasya Prashnottara Malika is also there.
Yes, it's there.
Yeah.
Many literary pieces and works, even shaastric works are there.
And there are many thank you messages to you. And very nice talk is one compliment from an anonymous attendee. Thank you very much, sir. All the audience enjoyed your talk and they got enlightened.